Hello and welcome back to Box Homeschool. Today I wanted to show you my recent order from Plum Paper, who is a sponsor of today's video. I've been shopping with Plum Paper probably for the last 2 or 3 years, and if you've been around Box Homeschool for a while, you know how much I love to plan and how much that has blessed our homeschool. So a couple things. One, I wanted to share a big change that I'm making in my planner, which I will explain and show you in just a bit. And the second thing I'm going to do is take you on a little plan with me ride and actually lay out my current planner and plan a week of homeschooling with you, just to kind of get a sense of how I plan. It doesn't need to be the way that you plan, but just more some inspiration, some ideas that might be helpful and efficient for your own planning time. So again, thank you to Plum Paper for partnering with me for this video. And there is a link below and a discount code for 10% off. And whenever they run a sale, which they do periodically, this is a great savings tip. If their sale does not include a code that you need to put in, the sale price is already reflected and you don't need to enter any extra code, then you can enter my code at checkout and that'll take an additional 10% off of your order. So the last amazing deal was a 30% off that they were offering in shop, and all the products already reflected the 30% off. And then if you added my code on top of it, it was 40% off. That only works when their sale price is already reflected in the price. So you can't enter 2 discount codes at checkout, just one. So whenever you see a big sale in their shop, usually 30% is the highest I've seen, then you can stack my code on top of that and get 40% off your order, which is hard to beat. Okay, let me get into my recent order. So it came in this cute bag. This is a little, I want to say canvas, but this doesn't feel completely canvas. It almost feels like slightly vinyl. This really cute drawstring bag. I love the color. So the first thing that came was this folio, and it came as a free accessory on my order. And this is an A5 size, which none of my current order has A5, but I have another notebook that I was planning to use this for. So I love this pretty sage green color. And then inside there are these pockets, which come in handy. More here, and then another flap, and then it's a snap closure here. Okay, another thing that I love to pick up from Plum Paper are their greeting cards. You can actually customize the greeting cards, so they have different designs. I've showed a bunch of my favorites on Instagram. You can customize the text on here. On some cards I've put some of my kids' names for when they write their personalized thank you cards, family name, or any kind of greeting that you think that you might want to send. I picked up these thank you cards with a Christmas theme, just thinking ahead and trying to get prepared for that time of year. Okay, the next thing I got are these stickies, these tabs. I use these all the time, usually for books to kind of be like my bookmark, but I also use these in my notebooks and sometimes in my planner. So I happened to be on their accessories page and saw these colors, and the material, it's kind of like a plasticky feel. It's not paper, but they're very like flexible. And then it has this edge here. So if you have a pocket in your planner, you can stick it in the back pocket. But I will usually keep these on our bookshelf, and then me and the kids can just use these as bookmarkers for all the books that we're reading. This cute pencil pouch I got from Juniper Grove. It is so adorable, right? Like the fabrics that they find are just so cute. And this is where I kind of keep all my planning supplies here for easy, convenient planning. So we will get to that in a bit. So if you have been here for at least a few months, I initially shared this planner as my 2025-2026 homeschool planner, and I love it. It is very similar to the planner that I used the previous year, except just a different design. I went for a darker color and personalized it, which is I love to do. It says Box Homeschool. It's a teacher planner, and I have a whole video that I can share where I flip through this and share all the details. I customized all the headings here, so you can see like the way that I customized at the top here. So this is upright. At the top would be like family studies, math, reading, writing, science, history, and our loop schedule, and that's for Monday through Friday. The back, there are so many extra things. My class, the year's goals. There's a bunch of different checklist options here, and then there's note pages that I chose the dot pages on, and I really love the look of this planner. So much of this had come in handy for the last school year. As I finished up my planner from the last year, I started realizing how little I needed to write down for my high schooler, because she was now fully taking care of her own schedule and assignments, very independent, logging everything into her own planner all by herself. And I didn't need to write down her assignments any longer, which was great. A lot less planning on my end, a lot less like keeping track of different kids' schedules and assignments. However, kind of sad too. So I was noticing this lesser need for space to write down assignments for 3 kids. I was now tracking for 2 kids, and this is about the time when school was winding down, and I realized, wow, for Riley, my oldest, I was just writing down our one-on-one reading times, basically our meetings that we scheduled together 2 or 3 times a week. So because of that, and also because I was working with Plum Paper and they were offering me to customize a planner, I made the tough decision, and it was tough because I really like this and I made it how I wanted it to be. And I had ordered this early, maybe like February, something kind of ridiculous. I always kind of try to think farther ahead than I need to. A little too early for this, where things had changed by the time I was ready to use it. So in an effort not to waste, I'm going to be giving this planner away over on my Instagram at Box Homeschool. And it will be a bit of a later start because this planner starts in July. So whenever this planner is received, it might be starting August or September for whoever receives it, but it's still beautiful and functional and not written in. And I hope that it's a blessing to someone who has yet to purchase a planner. So that is why this school year, 2025-2026, I am using this much smaller planner. And I ordered it sometime in July, so it's very fresh to me and a totally different layout than this one. So this is like the teacher planner style. Let me show you like a regular page. The whole grid and the subjects and everything like that. I'm not 100% confident that I will never go back to this style. I love it. I just felt pretty confident that I didn't need this much space. And I just felt bad for having so many pages and extra things and space to write when really I just needed a smaller and more trimmed down planner. So that is why this year I'm switching from this one to this planner. Let me quickly show you my daughter's planners. I have 2 from Plum for Riley and Lucy. This is my high schooler's planner, just to give you a little inside look. I let the girls customize their own planner to their liking, and Riley picked the botanical line drawings that are within like all throughout the planner. So pretty. So just to give you a quick glimpse into hers. So this is December, and again, you can see the botanical line drawings here. You can add customization here, text if you want. She decided to leave it blank. She customized this section. She added her habits that she wants to track this year: Bible study, chores, rehearse, and workout class. And then these headings are also customized with reminders, family blessing, like her chores, way she serves her family, her schoolwork, and then her after school activities. And then each month has a section for notes, just lined and then dotted before it goes into the next month. And then in the very back, she has some note pages and some school fun facts. This is important formulas and references, periodic table, some angles, just some like reference things for school. So this is my high schooler's student planner for 2025-2026. Okay, here is my 5th grader's planner. She picked out the cover and the background and the font, which she is just my little wild girl. And I just love seeing the way she selects things. Bright Blooms planner. And you'll see these like bright colors throughout. Let me show you another example. So there'll be these like bright flowers in every section, which is so like her to pick. So she also did, this is the vertical priorities layout, and we're all fans of it because that's what I ended up picking too. She left these 2 sections blank. She did her own habits: hydrate, vitamins, read, and get crafty, her way of having some kind of creativity in each day. Her customizations are morning meeting, chores, and then my plan, and then after school activities. So very similar to my oldest daughter with a little bit of her own little personality here. And there's fewer things in the back, just these like dotted note pages. Now let me get into my homeschool planner with you. I chose this much more plain watercolor cover. So different, right, from my original choice, but I decided to stick with that bright and pastel theme. I selected the Bright Blooms as well. So here's July, and you can tell I already got really busy in here. This was July in the summer, and then some of the weeks we had trips going on. Here's August. We were gone that week, and then back into this week. Let me go to December just to give you another example. So this is my homeschool planner, and it looks a lot like my kids' planners, a lot less space, none of the grids that I used to have, but I think this will be fine. I've been using it for a couple months now, and so far so good. But we all picked the vertical priorities layout, which is so beautiful and simple. And I love that it gives us these rows where we can customize the titles. It's been really functional and helpful to me and the kids so far. So for my habits, I put build momentum here just to kind of encourage me, knowing throughout the year it'll kind of go up and down. But the habits that I want to prioritize are Bible study, move in some kind of way. A few months ago, I picked up a walking pad from like an Amazon sale. I can link it below if you're interested, but it has worked so well for me in terms of consistency. More than any video, I've subscribed to different programs before, and I've tried taking classes outside of the home or just walking around the block, and nothing has been as consistent as a walking pad. It's just very convenient to have at home. I can easily listen to an audiobook or a podcast, and it just fits in really well. I can easily justify a half an hour on the walking pad. I don't know why mentally that just sounds a lot easier to do than to drive out to a class. That is one of my goals: move and take my vitamins, hydrate, sneaky service. This I put in because this is something that the kids and I do, is just try to serve the family or others without seeking any glory, just being sneaky about it and serving someone without needing any credit or recognition for that. And then to read. Those are the habits that are on every weekly page. Every page it'll have, and it's check boxes here. And then up at the top, I added morning meeting, meet with VIPs. Those are my kids that I read with one-on-one, my older kids. So once they hit middle school, I'll start reading with them one-on-one. So I have a section for that. My to-do, basically what we're doing for school, and then what is on loop. And this year I don't have a whole lot on loop. It's mostly music practice for my younger kids, but I put that there just in case we change things up throughout the year. So let me get into planning with you that next week. So here is that last week of August that I will plan with you. Let me get set up here. So here's that last week of August that we will plan together, and some of my supplies here. I am going to use my normal pen. These are my favorite pens right now. They glide so well. I will link all my favorite planning supplies below. These beautiful highlighters. I typically will do like a pink for my oldest daughter. I usually will do this neutral. It's kind of lavender. I don't know what it looks like on camera. A green for my son. Maybe I'll use this brighter green today. And then one of these as like group subjects. So I will do in bright orange for today. A little bit brighter colors just to give it some fun pop. By the time that you're seeing this, we will have already started school, and we might even be beyond August by the time I post this. The first thing I do is go into the calendar on my phone, and I will look up any events outside of schooling that I need to keep in mind. So this helps keep things flexible. Also just knowing, like, don't pile on a bunch of school on Thursday because we have a bunch of appointments or something like that. So that's the first thing I'm going to do here. So I'll look up the week of August 25th on my phone. So I do see that my youngest on Monday, for example, has a checkup appointment. So I'll just put that here. And then that is pretty much it. After school, we do have an event. So I'm going to just put that there. It's like a taco party. Okay, that's Monday. And then I'll just go through and do that for each day of the week to kind of set us up before I start adding in homeschool. Okay, so Tuesday I see my oldest daughter has driver's training, which is crazy, right? My oldest two have their doctor. Our pediatrician splits up the appointments if there's 3 kids. So my older 2 will be going on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, nothing. On Friday we're actually going to be out of town. So that one I will leave as blank, no school on that day. Let me see if I get some stickers. So I also have stickers from Plum Paper from a past order. So I'm going to use the field trip and put it here so I remind myself, do not schedule anything on this day. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add in my kids' online classes that are like standing appointments. This is gonna help me to also keep in mind to also know their schedule. Let's see, I'll do that first. So the reason I want to put in their online classes first is so I know what is a must do. Those are things they have to attend online, and then that will help me think about morning meetings so that I can plan a heavier morning meeting or a lighter one depending on what their schedule looks like for the day. Tuesday. So it's just my older two. Actually, my daughter is in one online class. So Monday, nothing. My oldest does Tuesday and Thursday, has her pre-calc Tuesday. My son has his writing class online, and then he also has his pre-algebra class on this day as well. Okay, that's it for Tuesday. Wednesday is my daughter's day for IEW. Wednesday, that is 11 a.m. SSS1B. And then for Thursday, I already have pre-calc in there. Friday, I think we can still do piano. Just seeing that kind of already helps me to see Tuesday is going to be a heavier day for my son with 2 online classes. So this helps a lot because I can already see Tuesday is going to be a busy day with 2 online classes for my son, 1 online class for my teenager, and also driver's training appointment, which is 2 hours long. So that helps me know morning meeting that day will be light. Okay. So let's start with morning meetings. So I just know this day, my youngest daughter has a doctor's appointment. Tuesday, I'm going to keep light. Wednesday, 1 online class, 1 doctor's appointment. And then Thursday is lighter, so I'll do full morning that day. And then Friday is a trip, and we have a piano. Appointments really helps to figure out how many things can I do, how much time can I take for morning meeting. And this has been really helpful for me to plan this way for the last couple of years since my daughter started high school. So one thing we will do is Bible. I'm not going to write Bible. I have it up here, and I'll check in with everyone about Bible here. So that's already there. We will do our financial study. We will do World Watch News, and I'll do a read aloud. Tuesday, I will do our worship study. Wednesday, I will do music appreciation. I will do World Watch News, and I'll read. If you want to see exactly what we're using for our family studies, I will link a video down below that shows all the resources that I'm mentioning here. So when you hear worship study or music appreciation, I do have a video where I break down everything that we're using, showing every resource, and then talking about it with you in that video. Let's do worship, Spanish, which we haven't done in a bit, and then we'll read. Friday, piano retreat. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as that. So you can see how I explained in that other video why we don't finish everything, all the things that we got for our family time, because we kind of take it slow and dabble in everything, but it's still important and it's still working out fine. So because my son has a very busy day here, I'm gonna switch it and read with him there, and then I'm gonna use this one, read with my older daughter on Tuesday and Thursday. And then we'll leave Friday blank to do. So for my oldest, she is slowly working through a consumer math study. We will do that there. That's pretty much all I need to write for her. Actually, on Wednesday, I'm gonna put, she's also doing How the World Runs. At this point, my son is still working on a summer workbook that he's almost done with. So I do want him to try to finish that. Pre-algebra. So I'm gonna look at the week before to see what we are missing here. So by this time, he would have started his language arts and science. So I'm gonna start adding in LLATL, fix it, science. We'll do LLATL and fix it grammar every day, but science we're gonna do 3-4 times this week. Now for my youngest, we are gonna start putting in some of her blocks. So now I have some space for my 5th grader to fill in. She is gonna do math every day. On Friday, we'll do business math. The other days we will work on Apologia math. She just finished up Math 5, so she's moving on to Math 6 with Apologia. The next thing she's going to do is LLATL. I did not put in IEW on Wednesday because she does have a live class that day for IEW. By this time, she has started her science, and we are using Zoology 2, which is swimming creatures from Apologia. And that's a curriculum I used many years ago. However, this is the first time that she's actually using it with us at the time. Back when I did it originally, it was with my other two kids, and my youngest was born, but she was barely involved and just kind of like toddling around. It's very new to her. Since then, they've actually updated the curriculum, so it's gonna feel very new. The notebook is so beautiful and in full color. I cannot wait to dive into that one. So she will do science, most likely 5 days a week. I realize we're leaving in the afternoon, so I will have a little bit of kind of more independent type of schoolwork scheduled there. And then she's also finishing up a geography study that she started over the summer, so she'll work on that. I'll add a little cursive here. At this stage, I would like to have our history going, but I don't want to overwhelm anyone. I think I'm going to put it here. A little bit of history. We are using Modern American History from Beautiful Feet Books, and that is just with my 5th grader and 8th grader together. And also I'm adding in their piano practice. Okay, we are all planned out for 1 week, and hopefully it helped just to talk you through how I do it. Sorry I didn't pull out all the books that I would be normally pulling out just to check on the lessons, but I wanted to kind of walk you through the analytical side of how I'm planning, the things that I'm thinking before I commit it to paper. So here is our rough schedule, and it could look like a lot. These columns could appear to be very full, but again, it's divided mostly between 2 kids. Many of these things are very independent, so I'm not doing all these lessons the whole time with them. They're very independent now at their ages, but what they will do is take my planner. I just hand it to them now. I used to have to write it in their planner for them, but now what they'll do is just take their planner. They'll go to the week. I'll hand them my planner. They'll pass it around, take turns. And my daughter put a note for herself, Hoopla, Life on Certsea. Just her reminder to pick up that book on Hoopla. I love to see how my kids utilize their planners. This is great because this is exactly the week she's supposed to pick that book up. Here, she'll just copy over anything in orange into her morning meeting. And then she will look at anything in lavender, which is hers. So math, language arts, science, geography, and then again in orange here, history and piano. She might add her own things that she wants to do beyond that, meaning like crafting, which is normally what she'll add in, or she might write down her exact geography assignments or books that she's going to read for that. I'll just write Geo to make sure that she did it. She has the whole guide online that will tell her what video to watch and what book to read and stuff like that. So that's the process of how we're planning. And really our homeschool has been so blessed by using planners in general because it takes away a lot of the decisions on the day of, and I can just jump right into it in the morning. I fill these out usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday of the week prior. And then on Sunday, I can just quickly glance at what does this week look like? Okay, Monday morning, I turn here and I know exactly where to start. We start with our Bible study, and then these are the morning meeting things. Let's see, on this day, I start doing my Bible study and checking emails and things, and I see my kids are in these morning classes. So I know as soon as they're done with that, we're going to jump into our worship study and our adulthood study. So it kind of allows me, especially if you're working, it allows me to bounce back and forth between things, not feel so scattered because I can just look at this, reference it, and know what the next thing to do is. And that's exactly what happens with my kids. I used to get asked so many times a day, what do I do next? I finished, what do I do next? That was what prompted me to start them on a planner, because that question was driving me crazy with 3 kids, because now they can look at their own planner and answer that question for themselves. They know the next thing to do, so they don't have to ask me. If you have other fun things that your kids do after they're finished with school, it's really easy to just ask, did you finish your planner? Also for my kids, they have their chores that they'll write in. There's a section for that here, chores. Each day and each child have different chores, so that cumulatively the house remains pretty tidy. It's really easy if your kid asks, like, can I play Night Zookeeper or play a video game, something on screens or something that's more of a treat. It's easy to say, let me see your planner, go through it, talk to them about it, check things if you need to. Whatever stage your kids are at with accountability, you can check them, you can trust them, whatever it is, and know that this is your job today. Thursday, this is your job. And once that's done, for me, most things are a yes. So using my planner and being really diligent and disciplined with it, and then working on that habit with my kids has been a real big game changer early on in our homeschool to eliminate a lot of the irritating moments of what do I do next, or can I have this, can I do that? Those questions don't come up anymore because they know the answer. So very grateful for efficient planners. This one from Plum Paper is beautiful, very functional and efficient for me. I will report back throughout the year and on Instagram like how things are going, but so far it's been really easy to keep up with, just kind of always in that groove of planning and getting it done, and it feels really rewarding each day when these things are checked off and done. Let me know if you have any questions about homeschool planning at all or planning in general. It's a very easy topic for me to chat about. Be sure to check out the link down below for 10% off anything from Plum Paper and take advantage of any sales that they have to stack that code on top of throughout the year. Thank you so much to Plum Paper for sponsoring this video. I love that you can customize pretty much anything on Plum Paper's website, their planners, their notebooks. They have different notebooks that I've purchased. The meeting notebook is great if you attend a lot of meetings for ministry or for work. That has come in handy, and I bring that anytime I have a meeting. They have note cards and stationery, just so many things to help your planning journey and to make it painless and more beautiful. And those are things that really help me to stay diligent in this, is when it's so pretty like this and I can customize it to what works for our family. It's been a game changer for us. So be sure to check out the link below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.